Namaste Gurukulians, how are you? Well, today we are going to start a new chapter of the grammar language, which is very important. But before I start teaching you, let me give you something to understand why this is very important. You know what? In English language, when we use tenses, when we learn any topic, for example, adjective, it becomes ultra important to use it accurately. Otherwise, the sense is spoiled. Let me write the topic of today so that you will develop some ideas about it. Yes, articles. You know what? A single word is important in the meaning of a sentence. In the same way, articles play a very important role in our day-to-day communication language or written language. Single word will spoil the meaning. So, in the same way, we have to learn the uses of articles. Articles are also known as determiners. Now, articles, let's have some examples. You will see, first I'm going to speak some sentences. You will see that the sense is clear to understand, but are they correct? So if I say, you're student, I'm teacher. Now in these two sentences, I did not say that you are a. Suppose I am talking to a single student. So it should be you are a student or you are a student. This is the case of stress, but understand we have to use a, which is one of the articles. I'll tell you which ones are our articles, but a and etc. are our articles. And I said, you are a student, I am a teacher. Now these two sentences are correct if I say, for example, I have heard students saying that my father is doctor. Is this correct? No way, it is not correct. Because you are not specifying, because this is a profession. We have to specify this. So we should say your father or my father is a doctor. A doctor. You are a student. You are a boy. Right? So this is why we need to learn the uses of articles. Now, when we talk about articles, see, we have two types of articles, definite and indefinite. We have two types of articles, definite and indefinite. Indefinite, we have the uses of the, and in case of indefinite, we have uses of a and an. So today we are going to start with the uses of article the. So first, first rule of using the is in superlative degrees. Dear students, if you have seen previous videos by me related to adjective, the third degree, and sometimes we had comparative degrees where we used the, but let's start with superlative degree, which is the third degree. We always use the before that. For example, he is the best teacher. So here we have third degree, good, better, best, and this is why the is required here. Next example, you are the most intelligent student. Now here we have the most intelligent. This is the requirement of this adjective that we use most, but here you see the. So this is the number one use of article the. Second use of article is related to names of states, countries which are descriptive. Descriptive names. How? For example, I'm talking about USA. USA. Now, it is not a particular place. There are many regions which are collectively called as USA. So, you can say he is from the USA, because USA is a name which is descriptive, which is actually related to more than one thing. In the case of Punjab, you have to say the Punjab. If you want to make a sentence, the Punjab. The Punjab is a very interesting state. Now, Panj is related to 5, and actually Punjab is a land where 5 rivers are there. So that's why Punjab is known for those 5 rivers. So it is a descriptive name. In this case, we have to use the Punjab. So the Punjab is a small state. You can say the Punjab is a very interesting state. Now, moving on, you have to note that do not write the Delhi or the America are wrong, because neither Delhi nor America is a descriptive noun. So don't say the Delhi. Don't say, see, there is one more name, UK. Again, UK is the United Kingdom. So here you have to use the. UK is something, whatever you are saying, something. So it is the here, but Delhi, India are not descriptive name, right? Now let me erase it. Moving on with the uses of article the, which is definite article. Rule number 3. The names of scriptures. Now, which are the scriptures? The books which we worship, we respect, we read for knowledge. For example, you have to use the Gita. Now, Gita is our book scripture which we read, which we worship. The Bible, the Granth Sahib, in the same way, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, you have to use the before these names. Number 4, names of newspaper. For example, the Times of India. Suppose you want to make a sentence, I read the Times of India. Or you can say, our school provides us the Tribune. The Tribune. So, with the names of newspapers, you can also add with the names of magazines. We have to use the, for example, the Business Outlook, right, etc. Number 5, names of rivers, canals, seas, oceans, bays, gulfs, group of islands. You have to use the. You can say the Ganga. That is Gita, the book, and it is the river, the Ganga, the Saraswati. In the same way, you use these names, the canals which we have, the SYL, right? The Red Sea, Bay of Bengal, right? the Gulf of Mexico and group of islands, for example the Himalayas, etc. Next we have the names of famous building. Famous building, well, suppose you know about this building. Everybody knows about it. So it is why it is the before it, because it is the Taj Mahal, okay, the Burj Khalifa, the Qutub Minar, etc. Now let me erase it. Rule number 7. The names of nationals, sects and communities. For example, when you say the English, what do you mean by that? Well, because here a nation is England and the people are called the English. So in the same way you can address people of these nationals with the. Moving on, proper noun used as common noun. For example, Kalidas is the Shakespeare. Kalidas is the Shakespeare of India. Kalidas was a poet and Shakespeare was a dramatist from other country. So Kalidas now is compared. So here the is used. See, proper noun. Shakespeare is the proper noun, but it is used as a common noun here. Kalidas is the Shakespeare of India. In the same way, famous historical events. Now, for example, the partition. You know that which partition we are referring here between India and Pakistan. Famous historical events, the World War II, right? Moving on, the directions. We have 4 directions. So when you have to use directions, for example, the sun rises in the east. Now this is one of the direction, so the is used here, and in the same way you can say the sun sets in the west. Now let me erase it. Rule number 11, name of unique things. Now, which things are unique in this world? You know that. So, we use the with them. The sun, the moon, the earth. For example, you can say the sun rises in the east. Now, here, east is the direction. That's why the is used before east, and the sun is actually a unique thing. The moon shines at night, or you can say the moon gives its brightness to everyone, or the earth. Moving on, title. When we give the title, now Akbar has been given the title of being very great, Mahan. So Akbar the Great was loved by his subjects. In the same way, Alexander the Great conquered. Conquered means after fighting, winning. So Alexander the Great conquered the world. Moving on, comparative degrees. Now if you remember, we talked about superlative degree in the first rule of definite article the, which was like I am the best player. If you use comparative degree of adjective, you use the, and when you actually compare, see, the deeper the well, the cooler the water. Here you mean to say जितना गहरा कुएं में होगा क्या, the cooler the water, उतना ही ठंडा पानी, जितना गहरा कुआं उतना ठंडा पानी. So the deeper the well, the cooler the water. The more one has, the more one wants, means जितना एक आदमी या व्यक्ति के पास होता है उतना ही वो चाहता है. Let me erase it. Rule number 14. When we speak of a particular person or thing we have already referred to, it becomes definite. You are talking to somebody. You talked, the person left. Next day you are again talking, but this time you are talking about that person with your friend. So you will say the. This is one example. Suppose here pen was already talked about. When this pen was again talked about, it is how used the pen you want, because the person already wanted that pen. The pen you want, now this pen is referred, is not available. I dislike the fellow, fellow means that person of your class. I dislike the fellow about whom you spoke to me, means मैं नापसंद करता हूँ उस व्यक्ति को जिसके बारे में तुमने मुझसे बात की थी. Rule number 15. When a singular noun is meant to represent a whole class, single, dog, it is a singular noun. We are not using dogs, but the one dog and other dogs same qualities. The dog is a faithful animal. Now you take one dog, two dogs, three dogs, inside dogs, stray dogs, pet dogs, all the dogs. So it means the dog is a faithful animal. In the same way, the cow is a useful animal. 16. Ordinals means when you speak about the people in their entry, she was the first to come. वो सबसे पहली थी. So here, because of this ordinal, this is the ordinal here, so we say the first, like he was the last to come. All right, let me erase it. Now dear students, 17 number, before musical instruments, the musical instruments like the piano, like he likes the piano. So because it is a musical instrument, we got to use the before it. The harmonium, the guitar, etc. Right? We use the before musical instruments. 18 number. It is important. The is sometimes placed before a common noun to give it the force of abstract noun, abstract which you can't touch. Actually, this is the father. Father is the common noun. The father in him, I'll explain it. The father in him was moved seeing the suffering children, means children who are in pain. Father means a person, but his fatherly love, his fatherly feelings. So here the is used here. It can't be like father in him was moved. We have to give it the force. The father in him was moved seeing the suffering children. Next, as the war declared, the hero in him. Now hero means that heroism, that power, that strength to fight. As the war declared, the hero in him could not keep quiet. Shant nahi baith saka. Right? Now, dear students, these are the uses of definite article the. After this, I will make part 2. This is part 1 of articles. After this, I'll make part 2 in which I'll describe about indefinite article A and N. Till then, watch it and learn it. Have a great day.